Hello and welcome to Rise and Unwind. I'm AV. Each week, we connect with people all over the country to spotlight things you can check out right in your own neighborhood. On this week's show, we've got a little bit of everything, such as this.
If it seems too good to be true, that's often a really good big giveaway as well.
All that and more right here on Rise and Unwind.
Have you ever wondered what it really takes to send technology to the moon and then make it work once it's there? There's a new documentary called Drive Me to the Moon. It takes viewers behind the scenes of a groundbreaking lunar mission and the collaboration that made it possible. So joining us today is Fabiana Neves, Vice President of Castrol Americas, to talk about the film and why this moment matters for the future of space exploration. Welcome to the show, Fabiana. How are you?
Thank you for having me. All good here today. Thank you.
All right, for our viewers just hearing about it, what is Drive Me to the Moon and what story does the documentary tell?
Drive Me to the Moon is a documentary where you will see everything behind the scenes on what it takes to be in the moon, from the concept to design, to collaboration, to bringing innovation, technology, and all steps towards making sure, hey, we are in the moon again.
And the movie follows the Lunar Voyage 1 mission from early testing to touch down on the moon. What do you think will surprise people most when they watch it?
Well, the first one is making sure that the collaboration with the private sector and how new innovation has evolved and made it possible for the first time ever be in the lunar South Pole. So that's a pioneer opportunity never done before. And you can see firsthand, right, so on the documentary.
Mission control is also a big part of the story. What makes this operation so unique compared to past lunar missions?
Mission control is the brain behind the machines and truly what monitors, give control, as well as receive the data and insights of everything that is happening from the moment of the launch until the machine is in there, right? So is the brain, is the women behind everything that happens, right? So the ability to monitor, to receive the images, the data, the insights, and then turn this into actions that we can learn and evolve further is definitely the heart and the brain behind everything happening there.
And Castrol has been involved in space exploration for decades. How did that experience shape their role in this mission and making of this film?
For over 7 decades, we have been partnering with NASA since the Apollo mission, worked with the Mars missions, with the rovers, the Opportunity, the Curiosity, the Perseverance rovers, and our technology have evolved and enabled these missions to be successful. Now partnering with Lunar Outpost and the private sector to making sure that we do evolve, that we bring the technology, and our lubricants enable those missions to be successful is critical, has been critical for Castrol. We are really, really proud of being partnering and working and evolving with the space industry.
With renewed excitement around lunar exploration right now, how does this mission help set the stage for what's coming next?
Yeah, great question. We are definitely keen to support the goal of finding a sustainable way of having human presence in the moon. This mission was a first step towards that goal, so we are keen to continue partnering and making sure that, hey, we can make this a reality and there is a sustainable way for having human presence in the moon.
So where can our viewers go check out Drive Me to the Moon and maybe get more information?
You can go to our website, castrol.com/drive me to the moon. And also you can find us on YouTube.
Fabiana Neves, I want to thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Have you ever wondered how investigators actually track down predators hiding behind a screen? Online crimes against children are one of the fastest growing threats, and the work to stop them often happens quietly through digital clues, undercover conversations, and long investigations. A new investigative series gives viewers a rare look inside those operations. Detective Tony Godwin leads the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force in North Texas and has worked nearly 7,000 cases over a 30-year career. Detective Godwin joins us now. Welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
I am great. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
So your team investigates crimes that start online but can have real consequences. What does a typical case look like from the first digital clue to the moment someone is arrested?
I mean, it really evolves rapidly. That's the one thing that I think the audience is going to notice, how quickly things happen and how quickly things escalate. But from the moment we put ourselves in this situation in an undercover capacity and the elements of the crime are met, which doesn't take long at all, like it's so fast and so quick, then it takes me and my entire team to put together all the steps necessary, legal process, and put all the affirmative links back together to figure out where this person is, who this person is, and then get ready for a takedown and hopefully a good arrest.
In the series, we see undercover operations where investigators pose as minors online. What goes into building those cases and making sure the evidence holds up in court?
I mean, people need to remember that everything that we do in an undercover capacity is based on what we know has happened to a real child. Unfortunately, children are exploited every single day online. And as a result, those reports get made and sent to us, and those are called reactive cases. So we know where they go. We know how they're talking. We know what they're doing, and we know what's happening to them. So we base everything we do in the undercover world just like that. We just put ourselves out there. Once it happens, once the communications start, which does not take long at all. And then once those elements go is when we move forward with all the legal process to get things tied together in a nice big bow on top of it, and hopefully ends with a great arrest and a successful prosecution.
And you've worked nearly 7,000 cases during your career. How has the way predators online changed over the years?
Well, we saw a big increase during the COVID time, I will tell you that. We were forcing our children online and into school environments in an online capacity. And so we were just generally pushing everybody online because of our COVID scare and the things that were going around that. And so at the end of the day, it's like a pleasure paradise playground for these predatory types who are already in these platforms and doing what they're doing. And so they had a target-rich environment in front of them. So it has increased. And so also awareness has increased over time, but I'm hopeful it's going to increase even more with the show that's come out on A&E, because we want that intentionality. We want people to know. We want to raise the awareness level of the average person who maybe has some knowledge of this, but doesn't really understand the gravity of what it is. And you're going to see this highlighted in the show. Obviously, it ends with a nice high five moment when we put people in cuffs and we arrest them. And that's a very satisfying, rewarding part of the process.
And for parents that might be watching this at home, what are some of the warning signs that a child might be interacting with someone dangerous online?
Yeah, that's a really good question. First and foremost, I would say pay attention to the behavior changes. You know your child better than anybody. So if you have a child who's an A student that comes down to a C or a D student, then at the end of the day, you know something's going on. Maybe their friend group has changed a little bit. Maybe they're normally very outgoing, but all of a sudden they're really introverted. That could be a red flag that something's going on. Secondly, I would say know how to access your kid's device. Know the passcodes. Know the platforms they go to. Know that some of the platforms have their own passcodes that might be different from the code to get into the phone. Educate yourself about what they're doing and how they're doing it. Being intentional over time, not a one-time deal. This isn't I get to go look one time and then back out of it. If you need to use monitoring software to help with that, then do that. I'm a big proponent of that. But you need to be very intentional. You need to lean in. You need to have constructive, age-appropriate conversations with your kiddo so that at the end of the day, if something does happen, that child's going to come to you or a trusted adult and say, hey, I'm in a pickle, I've done something, or this is what's happened, I need some help. And you already have a path of what's going to happen to get that child back on a good restorative path.
And the show gives viewers a behind-the-scenes look at your task force and the work that you do every day. What do you hope people understand better after watching these investigations play out?
I mean, take into account, there's a little bit of shock and a little bit of awe. Most people are going to notice because after the first show came out last week, my phone almost melted with all these comments and questions about how graphic these predators are and how quickly things escalate. And that is reality. And so I think they're going to take away that, but I think they're also going to have this awareness level that has just increased exponentially. I think they're going to learn from some takeaways that are going to be highlighted on the show, that what they can do and what if something has happened, what if something's already happened. There's a lot of resources that are available to them. And I think they're going to enjoy the entertainment side of it, which is the arrest or the takedown. Those are all really great moments. And I'm really happy to be a part of the program with A&E.
Detective Godwin, I want to thank you for joining me today. You can watch Predator Hunters Thursdays on A&E, and episodes are also available to stream on the A&E app and ANETV.com. Detective Tony Godwin, I really want to thank you for joining us today.
I really appreciate your time. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to your audience. Thank you so much.
Reality TV families come and go, but the Robertsons somehow turned beards, duck calls, and family chaos into a cultural phenomenon. Now they're back with Duck Dynasty, The Revival, following Willie and Korie Robertson as the family grows. The kids start their own lives, and the Duck Commander legacy just keeps evolving. The new season even opens with a tribute to Phil Robertson, while the rest of the clan brings plenty of the humor that fans remember. Joining us now are Willie and Korie Robertson. Great to see you both. It's great to see the Robertson family back on TV. What made this the right time to bring everyone together again?
Well, we kind of looked up and all of our kids were back. After the show ended in 2017, we had a really busy run, so we were ready to take a little break. And then all our kids scattered and went off to college and got married and all the things. And we looked up one day and all of our kids were here back home. We all live right there together on this little family compound, and our kids all work with us in some capacity up at Duck Commander within the warehouse. And so that would be fun to kind of give the fans a little update into our life and where we are now.
When people first met your family, the kids were a lot younger. Now they're married, raising families, and starting businesses. What's it like watching the next generation step into the legacy?
Oh, man, it's been a blast. Yeah, for sure. We had, I think the main test was, do you want to be back on television? Because our kids had been on it, and so when they decided they would, we knew we didn't ruin them too bad. Well, watch them grow up, and our cast members have gotten way bigger because we have a lot more little kids and also all their spouses. And so, yeah, it's been fun watching kind of what they're going to do in life. And fortunately for us, they all ended up back here in Louisiana. And yeah, it's just been a joy. And then a lot of them have drifted to the office. And so, yeah, it's kind of, it's made for the kind of the next generation to see who's going to take it on. And, you know, I didn't take over Duck Commander until I was 30. Grew up in the business, never saw myself working here when I was 30. That's when Korie and I came back and actually started working full-time for the company. So they're right about the age to where we were, and we're going to see who's next potentially to jump into the business.
The premiere includes a tribute to Phil Robertson. What did that mean to honor him in that way?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because the week that the actual new series started, season 1, was the week that Phil actually passed away. And so it was literally a passing of the torch from Phil and that generation down to the next. And so we just thought it'd be awesome to start out season 2 honoring him. And we see some great parts of the show on there. I mean, it's like tons of real moments. And then also we had to kind of make it Robertson, and we had some tributes to Phil, some competitions like we like to do. Just a fun way to remember him, not only for us as a family as we go through the process of healing after he's passed on, but also for all the fans who's watched him for years and have really fallen in love with Phil and what he says. And yeah, to see him start off this show, it really was a tribute to the whole effort of even doing it. I mean, like Korie says, when we did that episode, it just felt like this is why we needed to come back and do the show.
Yeah, it was really special. The most special part to me was having Miss Kay on there. We actually got to sit down with an interview for her, and she got to just reminisce about Phil and what his life meant to her. So it was really, really special. I was nervous for her, but she did so good. And I know that we'll all be glad, our family will be glad to have that moment and that legacy captured.
When people watch this new season, what do you hope they take away from the Robertson family today?
I think we want people to just see real life and see that, we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but we do all come together at the end of the day, around the table. I think that moment of the original Duck Dynasty is still happening for our family. And so it's in this season as well, that moment where we come around the table together. We thank God for what we have. We thank God for our blessings, and we forgive whatever grievances we might have or whatever fights we might have throughout that episode or that week. But I just think that's really important. I think that's what resonated with people the first time around, to see a family that isn't perfect but that loves each other, and to see people who put faith at the center of our lives. And that's who we are. It's what we do. It's what we've continued to do. And we hope that resonates with people.
Yeah, and I hope that they see how important our family is to us, and how much we intentionally pour into our family to keep us together, to share meals together, to share in each other's joys and bursts, but also the struggles and, when you're down. And so that's the importance of family. And that's why we made the show, is actually for other families as well, so that they can have another time to get together, spark a conversation, and just really promote family. And so our family has always stayed together through it all. And so it's so important and vital. And I think this show would help, hopefully help families get a little smile, but also remember how important family actually is.
I want to thank you, too, for joining me today. You can catch Duck Dynasty, The Revival on A&E with new episodes airing Saturday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's also streaming on the A&E app and at ANETV.com. Willie, Korie, thanks for spending a few minutes with us.
Spring planting season is right around the corner. And for a lot of farmers, that means every minute counts. When something breaks down, there's not much time to wait around for a fix. John Deere is rolling out a new tool called Operations Center Pro Service, designed to help farmers update their equipment and troubleshoot their issues fast, right from the field. And here's a look at how it works.
The time a farmer has to get their work done is remarkably short. Whether planting, spraying, or harvest, they rely on tools to keep them in the field and running.
John Deere Operations Center Pro Service is a full suite of professional technician capabilities. Whether you have an on-site technician or you like to do repairs yourself,
or have an alternate service provider do that work, these tools enable them to use it, diagnose, repair, and maintain it over the life cycle of that piece of equipment.
we like to talk about it as run it your way. This technology is just a full comprehensive capability for your operation to serve your needs.
So now let's take a look at how Operations Center Pro Service can be used day to day.
So I'm now in John Deere Operations Center Pro Service. I can see my entire fleet here. Today we're working on this John Deere 3046R. So I'm going to look into what's going on with this machine. The first thing we do when we want to work on a machine is let's check and see if there's any software updates. And it looks like I've got two new updates, the instrument cluster controller and the powertrain hydro controller. So I'm going to go ahead and download those updates. All right, it looks like those downloads are complete. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start installation. I'm connected to the tractor with an electronic data link. For non-connected machines, that's the requirement to connect to the tractor diagnostic port. On connected machines, there's also remote capabilities with Pro Service. So I'm going to hit connect. We're going to begin that installation. All right, the other controller programming was successful. Now I'm going to go ahead and switch off the ignition for 60 seconds. Now within my controller and programming history, you can see that I've updated both of those controllers, the payload, software version that it was updated with, and the tool that I used. Okay, so I've got my software updates done. I'm going to go ahead and connect again for diagnostics. It's connecting with the entire vehicle architecture. It's recognized all the controllers on the machines so that we can perform full diagnostics on this machine if needed. Those full diagnostics include readings, recordings, tests and calibrations, anything that a technical repair manual might walk you through if you have a certain issue. One of the amazing features we have within Pro Service is this Ask AI capability to search all the manuals in the machine. For this one, I'm going to put, how do I fix DTC? All right, it looks like it's a 6-pin connector. Right away, I recognize this component under the hood here. So I'm gonna go ahead and go check that connector, seeing if I have any pins or connectors bad and get that fixed. All right, so I found a bad terminal on that pin connector, that 6-pin connector, and I fixed that. So it looks like I have 0 diagnostic trouble codes available. I encourage you to go check out the amazing capabilities of John Deere Operations Center Pro Service. This is a professional repair tool. It's the same experience that our dealers have. You can ask your local John Deere dealer or go to deere.com/run-it-your-way. It starts at $195 for any machine and goes up from there based on the needs of your operation.
Ever wonder where the next generation of farmers is coming from? Programs like FFA are helping train future ag leaders. And there's a simple way people can support that right now. Alison Demmer is here with Culver's and works closely with their Thank You Farmer project. It's good to see you, Alison.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us about Scoops of Thanks Day and how people here can get involved.
Scoops of Thanks Day is happening on Thursday, May 7th. So you can head out to your local Culver's restaurant. And when you donate $1, you'll receive a scoop of fresh frozen custard and your choice of vanilla, chocolate, or our one-day only flavor of the day, Blue Barn Brownie.
Now, you've raised more than $1 million since this started. Where does that money actually go, and who does it help?
When you support Scoops of Thanks Day, you're actually supporting local agricultural education programs in your community. So organizations like FFA, supporting the next generation of leaders in agriculture, ensuring that they have the skills they need for hands-on learning and more.
So please elaborate on why supporting local FFA chapters is so important right now.
Well, we know that the next generation of leaders in agriculture will be really imperative to ensuring that we have a food supply for generations to come. So when you can support local FFA through programs like Scoops of Thanks Day as a part of Culver's Thank You Farmer project, you're really making a difference in being able to ensure agriculture's future is bright.
I got to be honest with you, this is the highlight of the interview and my day, because I've been waiting to find out what future Scoops of Thanks Day flavor is happening this year.
Well, this year, our new flavor is Thank You Farmer Project inspired. So really excited to tell you about it. It is Culver's Vanilla Fresh Frozen Custard, swirled with caramel and fudge and topped with ooey gooey brownie pieces. Blue Barn Brownie, it's delightful. You needed to go out and try it yourself.
Awesome. Now, you've worked directly on this project, and what does it mean to you personally?
Well, Culver's has always supported farmers and ranchers, and as a former FFA member myself, I see the value in ensuring that students have support, and the program supports those local FFA chapters. So you know that when you're going into your local restaurant, you're helping those local members in your community, and that really warms my heart, but also it's just so great to see our guests making a difference in their local.
That's awesome. Now, where can people go to learn more or participate?
If you'd like to learn more, you can head to culvers.com or, of course, go to your local restaurant on Thursday, May 7th for Scoops of Thanks Day to support.
Alison, don't eat all of that ice cream before it gets out to the public, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
The scams are getting smarter and honestly harder to spot. From fake calls pretending to be your bank to shady listings online. A lot of people are being targeted right now, and Darius Kingsley is the managing director and head of consumer fraud and scam prevention at Chase. And he's here to break down what to watch out for and how to protect yourself. Welcome, Darius.
AV, thanks for having me.
I appreciate you walking us through this because it is getting very difficult. So what are some of the biggest scams you're seeing right now targeting people?
Yeah, there's a couple really big types, and we're all seeing them, right? The first one is what we call impersonation scams. So that's where you get a phone call from your bank, or maybe a text, or maybe it's a government authority. Maybe it's, your local toll road authority or the sheriff's office about unpaid parking tickets. We call these impersonation scams because you think you're talking to your bank. You think you're getting a call from your sheriff's office or their text. But it's not. It's the scammer behind the scenes. And the other really big category is social media. So social media scams, look, we all we shop online these days. We find last minute concert tickets. This is how we find a last minute vacation deal, whatever it is. Look for an apartment, look for dates. Scammers know that. They're there. And so they're selling things that don't exist. They're listing apartments that aren't real. It can be really tough out there to kind of know what's what.
Yeah, I know you're calling from the bank right now, but I'm trying to find out some helpful information. So give me 1 second. Sorry about that. My bank was actually calling right when you were telling us about this. How can I tell if this is a real or a scam? Help me out here.
It can be really hard because sometimes these scammers leave with personal information, right? And they even say your address back to you. And so you don't really know. But here's the rule of thumb. You should always assume that if you get a call, or a text message that's asking you to act urgently, the urgency is always a big giveaway that you have to do something immediately, deal with this parking issue immediately. That's a really big red flag. The other thing is, you got to be very careful of talking to these people. I always just recommend hanging up, because if it's real, what you can do is if it's supposed to be your bank, pull out your credit card, pull out your debit card. There's a number on the back of that card. Call that number up. If it's actually your bank, or if it's actually the toll road authority or whoever it is, they're not going to be offended that you hung up on them or hung up on one person and then you call them back to find out legitimately. If it's really real, look up that number. If it's the IRS, go to the IRS's website. There's a 1-800 number. You can call them up. and you can find out. That's what I just recommend. Hanging up on these people. And if you get a text and has a phone number in it or a link, don't click it, right? Again, if it's a bank, allegedly from your bank text, call the number on the back of your credit or debit card.
That's great advice. And I know that you were talking about social media, but what should we watch out for with fake listings or postings? Help us out with that also.
Yeah, I mean, similarly, right? Like we're all out there for a last minute, like concert ticket deal, right? Or, again, looking for an apartment or something like that. So again, anything that kind of asks you to act urgently, if it seems too good to be true, that's often a really good big giveaway as well. And then another really big warning sign for you should be if they're asking you to pay like off platform, like if you're looking for like, a rent a beach house or something, and then they say, oh no, hey, send me the money, off platform separately, wire it to me. Or they ask you to pay in a really unusual way. Like we want gift cards, like straight up, that's probably a scam. So those are the things to watch for. Generally try to stay on platform and use reputable and well-known sites.
Now, AI has made a big jump. It looks like scammers are starting to operate as kind of like their sidekick, like they're Robin to their Batman. What are new red flags people should know about?
Yeah, I mean, the problem is, you're right. The scammers, we've all seen how good these deepfake videos are now. Scammers are using the same tools. So you're not going to really spot AI necessarily. It's just that the scammers are using AI information that's out there publicly to match it up. So it sounds a little more real and personalized, like you're getting that text from your toll road authority, and it's actually your local toll road authority. Like, so that seems real. But then the other thing is, like, a lot of these like emails that you get, they look really real, right? They're not full of misspellings anymore. The logo's perfect, or a fake website selling discount merchant luxury, goods. It's going to look really, really real. So it's really just about exercising all the precautions I just told you about, hanging up on them, staying on platform, don't pay through any unusual method.
It's a lot of information. I know people at home got their notepad out, they're trying to write it down, but where can people go to learn more or protect themselves moving forward?
Yeah, well, the good news is you don't have to write it all down because it's all on our website. So we have a whole security center website. It's chase.com/security. Everything I've told you about just now and a whole lot more on like what to look out for, as well as things like setting up a family password. It's all on that site, chase.com/security. It's also got some really helpful information on what happens if you do, because look, it happens to all of us. It happens to the best of us, that sometimes we will fall for something, and you did send some money and now you're like, oh no, what do I do? Like, do I lock down my bank account? Like, how do I do that? That is all on that site. You don't have to be a Chase customer to check it out. Chase.com/security.
There you go, Darius. Kingsley, thank you for swooping in and being the superhero we needed against AI.
Thanks, AV, for having me.
That's it for this week's Rise and Unwind. I'm AV. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. If you want to keep up with the show, then you can find us on social media. Just search Rise Unwind on IG or Facebook. We've also got YouTube at Rise Unwind. You can find everything in one place at riseunwindtv.com. Thanks again for watching, and we'll talk at you soon.